Welcome back, guys. It's your host, Too Fancy Jr. Today we're going to be reviewing the All Elite Wrestling Unrivaled Collection Action Ring. Guys, these are out in the wild today. I picked mine up at a local Walmart. Check them out. Let's get to the unboxing part of the video and then we'll finish up with the review. I've never opened one of these up before, obviously. So let's take a look-see. Let's see how we get this going. That was anticlimactic. Cut one little thread of tape there and voila, we have ourselves an AEW Action Ring. Or as people who collect Mattel rings would probably call this a basic ring. There we go. Action Ring instructions. And guys, the first thing that I noticed is this so-called basic ring is quite larger than a regular WWE ring. I'll get that up in a comparison clip here in just a second. Dig in here. Instructions. We have your turnbuckles, stickers, ropes. Yeah, we've put a few of these together before in our lifetime, so we're gonna need that. First thing I noticed, guys, is these turnbuckles are pretty beefy, which I'm a fan of. Kind of reminds me of the AKI N64 wrestling games. It's kind of similar to what their turnbuckles look like. They're repost. They just snap in like so. I also have these stairs, guys. In case you're wondering, they are compatible with this ring. I'll show you that as well. Fits perfectly up against the ring post here. Here we have an AEW Action Ring, guys. Fully assembled minus the stickers. I'm choosing to leave those off on mine. I just think it looks better aesthetically. And there's the steps that I was telling you about before. Fit snugly, nicely. The ropes, guys. A little bit looser than the Mattel ropes, I've noticed. But hey. And here we go, guys. We got Y2J, Le Champion, Chris Jericho, talking some trash to Ricochet here. Fantasy Warfare match. Guys, that just about does it for this unboxing portion. Let's get straight to the review. Alright, guys, here we have the comparison view. We have your Mattel Basic Ring on the left, the Jazzwares AEW Basic Ring on the right. As you can tell, just very quickly, immediately, the first thing that you tell is that the AEW ring looks like it sets up taller from the ground. It's bulkier. Next up is the underside of the ring. This view was not often seen by spectators. Hornswoggle, The Fiend, wrestlers like that, maybe so. But all kidding aside, here in the toy world, the Mattel ring, you guys notice it shipped with the spring feature. The AEW ring has no such feature, but the ring itself does kind of pop in and out just a hair. It's like a vinyl-ish material here, almost like a silicone, I would imagine. But there is some give to it. Far more realistic than the Mattel ring, so if you're going for realism, the AEW Basic Ring is probably the way to go so far. Alright, and the referees and the ring crew have assembled the rings. Here they are in all their glory. Again, the AEW, its girth is quite apparent.
I like that.
I'm really digging those turnbuckle posts, guys. I think where Mattel has them beat, though, like I mentioned earlier in the video, these are super, super tight. Lots of spring to them. The AEW ropes, guys, not so much. I mean, these ropes feel like they came out of a ring, you know, circa 1994. They feel like they've already been played with. Jazzwares, if you're listening, if you're watching, AEW, this is not very good. Alright guys, another thing that I noticed here with these rings too are the turnbuckles and the turnbuckle pads on the Mattel Basic Rings. I don't know how else to say it, but these turnbuckles are trash. Not very good aesthetically. They really don't look anything like an actual turnbuckle or an actual turnbuckle pad. Whereas you jump over to the AEW side, and I mean, not necessarily super duper realistic. It's not going to be as realistic as the real scale rings, but it definitely beats the Mattel offering by far. Alright guys, and finally the last comparison shot here that I wanted to mention, just to show you how much bigger the AEW ring truly is compared to the basic alternative that's provided by Mattel. As you can see, the basic ring fits inside of the AEW offering. And to me, guys, I think the Raw ring, the SmackDown Live rings that came out, those are pretty close to being perfect as far as, you know, what you want out of your action figures. If you have a pick fed, or if you have kids, or if you have a setup like this with a arena, you know, the tables and whatnot. I feel like the real scale ring kind of dwarfs my setup. It's almost too big for what we have here. And honestly, I mean, when you start putting wrestlers in the ring, I mean, that's the first thing that you notice with the real scale ring, is that the rings are just way too big. Whereas I think that the Raw and the SmackDown Live rings, you know, they're not as good of quality, but I feel like the scale is kind of there. And that's why I'm kind of liking this AEW ring, is because it's just a tad bit smaller than the Raw ring, but definitely bigger than the Mattel Basic Ring. So for this, 20 bucks, this is probably the ring to get, guys, if you're going to try to create something similar to this setup here. Alright folks, that was the unboxing. Review time. As far as I'm concerned, guys, this ring is worth the 20 bucks that they're asking for. As noted multiple times throughout this video, Jazzwares, you guys got to do something about these ropes. They're way too flimsy. They're not crisp at all. But overall, I'm telling you guys, this is a pretty good buy, a pretty solid buy, especially if you don't even have a wrestling ring. If you're wanting to get into collecting or anything like that, go ahead and pull the trigger on this. Pretty good ring. Not so keen on the squishiness here. It definitely functions better than the Mattel spring, which is very gimmicky. Packaging wise, I would say that they are spot on. It definitely looks expensive with the gold. Definitely brings your eye to the packaging. There's the back of the box again. Kenny Omega hitting Jericho with the drop kick. But yeah, guys, it's a. I would probably give it a 7.5, maybe an 8, just because of the ropes. I'm gonna have to switch those out with some Mattel ropes. Scale wise, it's pretty spot on for $20. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys, with the pros and cons. Pros, let's start there. The All Elite Unrivaled Collection Action Ring, guys. It's definitely bigger than the basic ring that Mattel offers. That's a +1 in their favor. The second pro, I would say, is just the build quality. The turnbuckle post plays into that as well. The lack of a gimmicky spring, definitely another pro. Scale wise, I mean, as you can see, Jericho sits up on the second rope there beautifully. No complaints, from me as far as the scale is concerned. The packaging, again, that's a plus. The price point, $20, not too bad. You're gonna find this at other stores for less than that come later this year. As far as the negatives are concerned, well, you've heard me harping on it all throughout the video, guys. These ring ropes, they're garbage. You're gonna have to replace them. So to me, if you spend $20, you're expecting the ring ropes to be crisp, to be solid, to be springy, and these ropes simply fall way short of that. So that, to me, drops it down from like a 9 or an 8 to around a 7.5, 8 score. I think that's fair. I mean, this is their first entry into the toy business as far as AEW is concerned. I know Jazzwares has a little bit of experience making action figures here and there. We're going to have to hold judgment to see how that goes. The early reviews and things that I've been hearing, the skin tones are terrible. There's some other cosmetic issues that they're promising to work out for line 2, or wave 2 rather. But time will tell. We're going to see if these are actually going to be unrivaled or not. Right now, this basic ring, they got that market on lockdown as far as build quality goes and aesthetics. Ring ropes, not so much, right? But yeah, guys, definitely go out to Walmart, check this ring out. It's $20 again. For what you get, I think it's worth it. You can pick up rings for, more or less, but this one here, I think it's the way to go. If you're going to get a basic ring, if you're in the Walmart aisle and you're eyeballing the Mattel ring or the AEW ring, go with this one. I don't think you'll be disappointed once you get new ropes slapped on there. Alright guys, that just about wraps it up for me here on this unboxing and review of the AEW Unrivaled Collection Action Ring. Going forward, I would like to see Jazzwares and AEW, listen to their fans. They're already doing that, obviously, with Wave 2 and Wave 3 and so on and so forth. They're taking the criticisms, they're fixing what's wrong with their figures. I believe that the rings will be no different. The ring ropes have got to get better. As far as the line itself is concerned, I would like to see them, set themselves apart from the Mattel line. Definitely focus on the figures, focus on the ring, by all means. But we watched Wardlow and Cody go toe to toe in that super steel cage that was ridiculously too tall. I would love to see that in toy form. Equally excited to see that in a video game as well. Steel cages have kind of gotten boring, but man, that steel cage match, the way that they had that cage set up was bonkers. Just pure craziness. I loved it. I'm sure that Cody didn't like having to do the moonsault off the top. If you haven't seen that match, guys, go ahead and check it out. I hope they keep that design going forward. I hope they do not shorten the cage. That match, it was great. So I'm hoping to see that come to the toy line here, maybe later this year, maybe next year. But yeah, just playset wise, Mattel's not really doing a whole lot, in that space now. The ones that they do are very gimmicky, very childish. So I would like to see Jazzwares kind of surprise us here and there with some playsets, and maybe even some double packs, Mattel is slowly kind of releasing 1 or 2 double packs per year, but I'd like to see AEW get into that as well. So yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for me. 2 thumbs for me. All right, jobbers, take your vitamins, say your prayers, and get pinned. I'll catch you on another episode. Peace out.